What if the person your boss thinks is useless is the only reason he survives? I have been underestimated my whole life. Not in loud ways, not in dramatic ways, just in quiet, steady ways that build up over time. The kind where people smile at you in meetings but never really see you. The kind where your ideas are used but your name is not. I work in a tall glass building where the air smells like coffee and stress. My name is Linda. I am great with numbers. I finish reports early. I catch mistakes no one else sees. But none of that matters to Bradley. Bradley is my boss. Bradley believes titles are proof of talent. Bradley believes he is always right. Earth to Linda, he says one afternoon while I am still typing. Still working on the company report? His voice is smooth but sharp underneath. I look up and tell him I finished it last week. He blinks, surprised for half a second, then smiles like I just told a small joke. I'm right behind you, he replies, like he planned it that way. The room laughs softly. I don't. He walks back to the front of the meeting room and adjusts his suit jacket. They shrunk the team down to a smaller group, he announces. But don't worry, I know who did the heavy lifting. He does not look at me. Later that day he calls me into his office. The blinds are half closed. The light cuts across his desk like a line I am not allowed to cross. He folds his hands. I'm going to be frank with you. You are smart. I know you are great with numbers. But I just don't think you got it. As an executive, I see no value in you. Does that make sense? For a second, I think I heard him wrong. I'm sorry. What? He leans back in his chair, calm, certain. We have the Bangkok merger coming up. Prove me wrong. Before I can stand up to leave, he adds one more thing. Oh, Linda, before you go, I've received a few complaints about you. Complaints. The word hangs in the air. Noxious odors, he says with a small shrug, like it is nothing. My face burns. I shower every morning. I keep extra clothes in my car. But this is not about smell. It is about power. It is about making me feel small. I walk back to my desk slowly. Around me, people type and whisper and pretend not to notice. I stare at my computer screen, but I'm not reading the numbers anymore. I'm thinking about something else. I grew up camping with my father. I can build a fire with wet wood. I can find clean water in places most people would never look. I can stay calm when others panic. I never thought those skills would matter. Here, in this office. Under these lights, Bradley thinks survival is about titles. He thinks leadership is about talking the loudest. He has no idea what real survival looks like. And one day, very soon, he is going to find out the flight to Bangkok was supposed to change everything. Bradley walked through the airport like he owned it, phone pressed to his ear, talking about numbers, deals, power. I followed behind him, carrying the merger files he barely looked at. This is big, Linda, he said without turning around. Try not to mess it up. I nodded. I always nodded. The sky outside was gray, heavy with clouds, but inside the plane everything felt normal. Flight attendants smiling. Soft music playing. Bradley already planning the press release. Then the shaking started. At first it was light, like the plane hit a pocket of rough air. People looked around but stayed calm. Bradley kept talking. It's just turbulence, he said, annoyed more than worried. But then the lights flickered. The shaking got worse. Oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling. Someone screamed. The plane tilted hard to the left. That's when fear finally showed on his face. Everything after that came in pieces. The sound of metal tearing, the smell of smoke, the feeling of weightlessness. Then darkness. When I opened my eyes, the world was quiet. Too quiet. I was lying in sand. My head hurt. My mouth was dry. For a second I thought I was dreaming. Then I saw the broken pieces of the plane scattered along the shore. The ocean stretched out in front of me. Endless. No city. No airport, no rescue team. Linda. A weak voice called out. Bradley was a few feet away, struggling to sit up. His suit was torn. His perfect hair was covered in ash. He looked smaller somehow. Human. How long have I been out? He asked, blinking in the sunlight. About a day and a half, I said quietly. I had already checked the sun, the tide, the position of the wreckage. He stared at me. You're guessing? I shook my head. No, he tried to stand but fell back down. We need to make a distress signal. A bigger fire. Something. I was busy trying to keep us alive, he snapped, pointing at the wreckage. But getting us out of here should be your focus, not playing Susie Homemaker. I froze. What did you just say to me? He looked at me like nothing had changed. Let's not forget. I'm your boss. You work for me. I stood up slowly. The wind moved through the trees behind us. The office was gone. The glass walls, the meeting rooms, the titles. We're not in the office anymore, Bradley. He opened his mouth to argue, but no words came out. Around us, there was only jungle and sea. No signal, no sound of planes. No help on the horizon. For the first time in his life, Bradley had no control dot, and for the first time in mine, I did dot. By the second night, the island felt less like a nightmare and more like a test. I had already built a small shelter using broken seat panels and palm leaves. I found fresh water inland, just past a line of thick trees. I started a fire before the sun went down. Bradley watched all of it in silence. He tried to help once. He gathered wet sticks and dropped them beside me. Maybe try making a bigger fire, he said, like he was still running a meeting. I didn't answer. I adjusted the dry bark, leaned closer, and blew gently. The flame grew strong and steady. I was busy trying to keep us alive, he added quickly. But getting us out of here should be the focus. We are alive. I said, that's the focus. He didn't like that. I could see it in his eyes. Out here, there were no titles, no corner office, no assistants. Just hunger, heat, and fear. The next morning, I set simple traps near the tree line. By afternoon, I caught a small animal. Bradley stared at it like he couldn't believe it. You ever hunt? I asked him calmly. He shook his head. I like it, I said. He stepped closer. Linda, this isn't funny. You work for me. I turned to face him fully. Not anymore. His jaw tightened. You are stuck with an awful boss, he said, trying to sound strong. I almost smiled, just like I was. The truth settled between us like the smoke from the fire. No help was coming. And deep down, I wasn't sure I wanted it to. The days blurred together. Sunlight, heat, silence. Bradley grew weaker, not just in his body, but in his voice. He stopped giving orders. He started asking questions. Do you think anyone is looking for us? He would say at night, staring at the dark sky. I never gave him a clear answer. One afternoon, I noticed something far out on the water. A faint shape, maybe a boat, maybe nothing. Bradley saw it too. His eyes filled with hope for the first time since the crash. That's it, he said quickly. We need a bigger fire. More smoke, now. I looked at the small flame in front of us. It was enough to cook, enough to stay warm. Not enough to be seen from miles away, Linda, he said, almost pleading. This is our chance. Our chance. I remembered his office. The half-closed, blinds. As an executive, I see no value in you. I remembered the laughter in the meeting room, the word complaints. The way he made me feel small dot out here. I decide what has value. I stood up slowly and added one more piece of wood to the fire. Just one, not enough to change anything. Bradley stepped closer. What are you doing? We need more. I met his eyes, calm, steady. You said I didn't got it, I reminded him softly. Maybe you were wrong. The shape on the horizon drifted farther away. He watched it disappear. I watched him. You're not serious, he whispered. I turned back toward the jungle. We're not in the office anymore, Bradley. Behind me, the fire burned low.